Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Sarah from Create the Way Arts, and I'm super happy to be here and a part of Strawberry Moon's self-care adventure. So I'm an artist, a dancer, painter, mixed media artist who is extremely passionate about the expressive elements of the arts and more specifically the expressive languages. And I also have a background in alternative wellness practices. So today I'm going to be sharing with you one of my biggest passions. One of the biggest ones is creative dance, creative movement. And my hope is that by you experiencing this as part of your self-care practice, it will feel good to move your body. And it will also help stimulate your energy and nurture your creative practice with some kind of fresh and new creative energy. So let's jump right in, and I'm going to share with you. So in dance, there are basically these overarching concepts. So we have space, time, force, body, and movement. And under the first three, space, time, and force, there's lots of little elements under these umbrellas. So I'm picking out just one little piece, which is the element of place. And that's what we're going to focus on for this self-care practice. And specifically with place, there is self-space and shared space. So for this practice, all you need is a little bit of space for yourself to move about freely. You'll notice on the video, I have a big, I'm in my mom's garden for it, but I have a big amount of space, but you don't need a big amount of space. You can do this in a small space. You can, even if your body is not feeling like it can move a lot, or you're limited in some of your movement, you can even do this in a chair. There is, even if you're bedridden, there are benefits to visualizing movement and visualizing yourself doing movement. So this is really accessible for people at all levels of different movement abilities. So the biggest thing I want to emphasize is just to do what feels good in your own body. Move in a way that feels good in your own body. You can follow my movements along for the warm-up, but again, modify whatever you need and adjust whatever you need to make it feel good. And then the second part is going to be a really playful exploration. So imagine your 3-year-old self. You want to really let go of any expectations of what it needs to look like. Please, you don't need to copy me. This is really about experimenting with these movement concepts and elements and creating your own movement. So the last thing I wanted to say, there's really no right or wrong way to do this. It's essentially a guided movement meditation for you to play and explore. So let's get to it. Have fun.
Let's get ready to move. We'll begin with our warm-up. Start by taking a walk around your shared space. Shared space is the space that we can move in and travel about. So this may be your office or your living room or your bedroom, and simply notice your shared space that you're able to travel about in. And as you do this, start to also tune in to your breath. We'll settle now in a comfortable standing position and continue with breath. Inhaling the arms up and exhaling down. Again, inhaling up and exhaling down. One more big breath up and exhale down. We'll reverse the arms up through the center, up and out and around down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And one last time, inhaling up and exhaling down. Curl your spine now, and we continue with tactile movement, drumming into the base of your spine and kidneys, down the outsides of your legs, up the tops of your legs, up your arms, drumming, drumming, drumming. Drumming your chest, tapping your face, And now squeezing down to the neck, the arms, the torso, the legs. Squeeze, 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 squeeze all the way down. And now little raindrops tapping up your body. Tap, 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 making your way to the top of your head. And finish with brushing down the arms, face, back, legs. And now we're going to contract in really small here. And now expand and stretch out really big. So it's like a small O shape with your body and a large X shape. And breathing out and expand, breathing in and contracting in really small O and expanding out. We'll transition now into a wave-like motion of the spine, arching forward and curling back. Breathing out as you arch forward and breathing in as you curl back. A fluid motion of the spine. Breathing out and in. We'll reverse the movement, diving down and scooping up. Again, coordinating the breath by exhaling and inhaling up. Breathing out, curling down and inhaling up. Exhaling down and inhaling up. Change now to a side motion of the spine. We call this seaweed. Can you imagine yourself underwater in this fluid-like motion? And reverse now, scooping. Like a snake-like motion of the spine. That side flexion. And continue lengthening the side by pressing down and up. Has almost like a yawning-like quality. Press and press. And we'll again go through that wave-like motion, this time with the arms. Inhaling up and exhaling forward, curling through the spine. Imagine your chest gently reaching forward and your abdominals curling you back. And breathing out and in and reverse, diving down and scooping up. Breathing out, curling down and inhaling up. And again, curling down and inhaling up. And last one. And excellent. We're going to transition now from our warm-up into a movement exploration. And just a gentle reminder again that this really isn't about copying my exact movement. Unlike the warm-up where you were copying a little bit more of my movement, this is really about exploring what feels good, what feels playful, what feels fun in your own body. So we're going to explore and play with the element of self-space. And self-space is essentially the space that you can move in, but you're not traveling. So I'm going to take you now through basically like a guided movement meditation with some music. So just listen for the prompts and follow along in this exploration of self-space. Imagine a giant bubble surrounding your body. This is your self-space. And play with how your arms can expand and reach into that bubble space. And your legs, how can they expand into that bubble space? And now, play with how high can you reach in that bubble space, in your self space. Maybe even jumping if that's comfortable and fun. And opposite of that, how low can you explore and play in your self space? So again, whatever feels comfortable and good in your own body. slow exploration. And what about in the middle? Not too high, not too low. What does that feel like to explore your self space in the middle? What about small, tiny movements, teeny tiny movements? Tiny, 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 little. It's like call it like a near reach. It's like your hands and your feet are very close to your body, very small movements. And then, opposite of that, big. How big can you make your movements in self-space? Big, big, big. Big and low. Big and in the middle. And let's play now with direction. Moving forward, playing with your arms and legs, and backward. Exploring different body parts, moving in the back space. And now try sideways. One side of your body, exploring the space, and the other side of your body, exploring that space. And now direction up and down. How high up can you reach in your self space, and down, up, and try melting down, and try growing up and melting down. So just changing the quality of the movement a bit. Now we play with pathway. And the idea of curvy pathway, curving your arms. You could play with curving different parts of your body, like your legs, your toes, your feet. You could curve your hips, your torso, your head, your whole spine. Curvy pathways. Now, another type of pathway is straight. So we can play with exploring straight pathways in our self space. And now my favorite, zigzag. Played with our hands, zigzag. You can play with your knees, with your elbows, with your hips, with your nose or your toes. Zigzag. Now let's play with the element of speed in our self space. So moving slowly. How slow can you move in your self space? Slow exploration. Get ready for fast. How fast can you move in your self space? Fast hands, fast feet, fast hips. And now not too fast, not too slow, medium speed. Not too fast, not too slow, medium speed in your self space. And now play with energy, smooth energy. How can you make your movements in self space feel smooth and sharp? How do you make your movements feel sharp in self space? Sharp. And shaky. You could play with shaking just your hands or your head, your hips or your shoulders, your feet. That shaky energy. What does that feel like in your self space? moving but not traveling. And my favorite, swingy energy. Just play with swinging up and down. Let's play next with the element of shared space. So shared space is essentially the space that you can move about in and travel. So you're moving and traveling. So if you're in your bedroom, your shared space is your bedroom. If you're in your kitchen, your shared space is your kitchen. My shared space here is my mother's garden. And so we are going to explore shared space, also known as general space. So let's begin by just simply walking around your shared space and exploring by then reaching up high. How high can you reach in your self space? Maybe on your tippy toes, maybe jumping, but moving and traveling within your shared space. And now opposite of that, how can you move low? Maybe crawling or slithering, creeping. What kind of movements can you explore on a low level in shared space? Maybe scooting, bear crawl, baby crawl. And then what about in the middle? So not too high, not too low. Traveling about the shared space on a middle level. And now play with small movements. Again, traveling teeny tiny little itty bitty steps, maybe little bitty jumps. But how can you move and travel small, tiny, 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 and then opposite, big? How can you move in a big way through shared space? And then medium size, not too big, not too small, just medium size. How can you travel about in your shared space like this? And let's play now with direction, moving forward and backward in your shared space. Forward and backward. And what about sideways? How can you travel, move and travel sideways within your shared space? Or galloping or scooting. And then how can you move and travel with the direction of up and down? Traveling, moving up and down. Now let's think about pathway. And imagine like a curvy pathway that your feet could follow. And walk along that curvy pathway, moving and traveling. Curvy, curvy, curvy. Curvy, curvy, curvy. And then we're going to imagine straight lines and our feet traveling those straight pathways. When you don't have any more room, stop and find another straight line pathway. And just play with this idea of moving and traveling in straight pathways, straight lines. And zigzag. Zig, zag, zig, zag. You might try sliding or hopping back and forth. But imagine a zigzag pathway that your feet can walk along or hop along or play along. Now speed, how slow can you move through shared space? And get ready, because opposite of slow is fast. How fast can you move? Don't hurt yourself though. Just move quickly as you can. And traveling about in your shared space. And not too fast, not too slow, medium speed. How can you travel about in your shared space at a medium speed? And playing with the element of energy again, smooth energy. Moving and traveling through shared space with smooth energy. What does that feel like in your own body? And now, sharp. How can you travel using sharp energy? It might be more like marching or slicing, sharp-like movements. And is it possible? Can you try shaking and traveling? Shaky energy, and let those shaky feet travel you around your shared space. Or those shaky hands might lead you through shared space. And swingy. You figure out ways to use swingy energy and travel. Swinging the arms, possibly swinging the legs or the torso. Swingy energy. Come back now to your center. Find your weight, shifting equally back to both feet and coming back to your breath. Inhaling up and exhaling through the center. Let's take a few deep breaths like this, filling up your bubble space, filling up that self space. Inhaling up and exhaling around. And one last time. Stay connected to your breath. And now simply take a walk around your shared space with a new awareness of your surroundings and a mindfulness of your breath.